Greetings, YouTube. So I read a piece the other day that was absolutely infuriating, as in like having me scream at my computer screen. Infuriating. See, there's a company that makes ankle bracelets for monitoring prisoners. But parents can get contracts with that company to put ankle bracelets on their teenagers so they can monitor them. And they come in two varieties. One which is a very simple zone, like if the teen wearing the bracelet leaves a zone, they will be alerted. And then which is a much more detailed tracking. You can actually track them properly as a tracking device. Now, if you are even contemplating doing this, turn your child over to the state, because you are an absolute and utter failure of a parent and as a human being. But if you've done this, you should be arrested. You should be the one wearing that ankle bracelet. And you should still lose your children to the state, because you are unworthy to be a parent. I know this is going to come as a shock to people out there, but teenagers do not fall from the sky. They are your kids, the ones you raised from birth. They're not some mysterious alien. If you have raised them correctly, in a healthy manner, with lines of communication, you will never contemplate strapping an ankle bracelet on your own child. The article caught me completely blindsided. Just blindsided me. Caught me completely off guard. Because I never considered the fact that there were people out there that would do such a horrible thing. Why would you do this? Because you're admitting to the world, I am a failure of a parent. Now, I know people are going to say, well, you're not a parent, and I'm not. But you know what I am? A human being. And you know what I used to be? A teenager. And before that, I was a child. Now, I wasn't raised in a healthy environment. I was troubled as a teenager. I just focused all that rage and hate on myself, because that's what I had been conditioned to do. Because if I had expressed it outwardly, I would have lost my life. So I really understand what a bad family dynamic is about. And if you have raised your child in a household where you have a high tolerance and a high discipline level, the healthiest model of rearing a child, you're not going to need an ankle bracelet. Because you will have established the lines of communication that say, okay, as long as you are abiding by these things that we have agreed is what you should do, homework, chores, family time with your siblings, your parents, that kind of thing, you can then go explore other avenues, hobbies, hanging out with your friends, playing video games, playing in a garage band, that kind of thing. You can define a healthy environment for your child and raise them as in that environment without having to admit you are a failure and strapping an ankle bracelet on them. Can you imagine what that's going to happen? If there's a parent and child dynamic which this is that bad, can you imagine the process of putting that ankle bracelet on your kid? There's just no way you could do that and not end up abusing them, because this should be considered child abuse. Children are not extensions of you. Your world ends at your fingertips. You don't get to control the life of another human being just because you're a parent. You are not fucking God. Stop thinking you are. You're just a person. And they're just people. I have a thing I use all the time. It's a metric I measure things by. It's called the stranger test. If a stranger was to do something to your kid, and you would consider that to be unlawful or unethical or immoral, it's unethical and unlawful and unmoral for you to do it. Would you be okay if some stranger off the street slapped an ankle bracelet on your kid and started tracking their every move? Of course you wouldn't. You'd call the frigging police. Well, guess what, folks? Same thing here. Someone should be calling the cops on any parent that does this. Children are not an extension of the parent. Children are their own entities. And they should have bodily autonomy and agency. And you were removing both of these things by putting an ankle bracelet on them. So yeah, I guess I'm still really angry